Hello everyone, and welcome to the 5 healing Qigong sounds. In this practice, I'm going to start with a video introducing the 5 different sounds and the movement that we do for these sounds, and then you can carry on from here and we'll string it all together. So you might want to watch the first part first, and then as you go along with this practice, you can probably just zoom over this and go right to the second half. So the 5 healing sounds, these were created by the Qigong masters and the traditional Chinese medicine men who were often Qigong masters. And they determined that there were certain sounds that reverberated through the organs to help with clearing and cleansing, to tonify these precious aspects of our body that keep everything moving along. If you can hear all those birds in the background and you hear a big shriek, there are black cockatoos nesting everywhere here. So it's an amazing sight to behold these birds. I don't know, they would be at least this big. They're absolutely ginormous. And they come through here in spring and summer to nest. So the 5 healing sounds. We start with the sound for the lungs. And this sound is si ah. And it's like a very long ah. The movement for this form, we'll sweep the arms out, soften through the knees, breathe in and raise the hands up. As they turn out, xia. And then we release back down. The second form that we do is for the heart. And the sound for the heart is ah. And when you make these sounds, you'll actually feel them reverberating, the si ah through the lungs, the ah through the heart. So the movement for the heart, we breathe in. It's a long breath. This is the starter breath. We're going to breathe in. We breathe out and we pull the arms down. Now here we're going to hold, taking another breath. And as we breathe out, we raise up into a Y. Ah, for the full release of the breath. Then the hands will come back down. Next, we move to the spleen and the stomach. This one is specifically for the spleen, although the spleen, the stomach, and the pancreas are one system in traditional Chinese medicine. The sound for the spleen is hoo. And this is, imagine when you were a kid and you're blowing on a pane of glass and trying to make the fog. This is that hoo. It's quite a strong emission from the mouth, and the sound is who, like who is it? Who. So the movement for the stomach and the spleen, you take the left hand face down in front of you, and it's quite low and below the navel. The right hand sweeps in, and we breathe in and up, and your right palm will now be facing the sky. Lower hand facing earth. This form is called separating heaven and earth. As we come up, we breathe in. We will turn to the left to wring out the spleen. Then we breathe in again. And for this form, it's a long breath in. We're going to hold for about 10 seconds. Then as we breathe out, we sweep back to forward, hand comes down. And as we do this, hoo, hand comes down, the hands come in, and they're going to come back to this position. The fourth form is for the liver, The liver sits under the right rib cage. The gallbladder is in behind there. The liver is one of the most sensitive organs in the body, and it's also the largest. This is a really, really big breath in. We start the same as we did with the heart. The sound for the liver is shh. We breathe in all the way around. The arms will come in front, and we are compressing through the upper half of the body. So it's shh. As we compress down, we press into the rib cage, the tailbone stays anchored, and this releases the heat and the stagnation from the liver. The fifth sound is for the kidneys, and the sound for the kidneys is like the word tree, but you say it with a C and the jaw is clenched. You want to hear the reverberation through your ears. The ears are the gateway for the kidneys. The mouth is the gateway for the large intestine. Tongue is the gateway for the heart. Eyes are the gateway for the liver, and the nose for the lungs. So you can see how everything is very interconnected. So for the kidneys, you'll sweep your hands out with the palms facing out. We take a breath and we sweep 3 times across the back. Your kidneys sit in this area here. And then we breathe in and pull the arms up as high as you can. Then we'll take our breath and we breathe out and we go tree as the hands slowly slide down. If you've done Qigong before, you'll recognize this form as embracing the tree. Keep your shoulders relaxed, and as we make the sound, tree, hands are just sliding down. Now, in between all of these forms, we'll do something called regulating the chi, and we'll start with 9 of these breaths for the commencement of the practice, and we do 9 breaths at the end. Now, this sound always reminds me of how Darth Vader breathes. It's very in the back of your throat, and it's so you're even the kookaburra is laughing at me. You're squeezing through the back of the throat. And for this form, the hands are up in front of the lungs. We breathe in, pull back, they turn over, and we breathe out. And it's quick. Breathe in, come back up. We're doing 9 of those breaths. This is a very ancient practice. This particular routine is by Ken Cohen, who's by one of the most renowned Qigong masters. And this last form it's expelling all of the waste and toxins that are being released through the healing sound. So this is a very cleansing practice. Now, for the regulating the chi breaths that we start with, and we'll do 3 in between, we start with the hands up here. I'm in front of my lungs. We breathe in and pull back. On the out breath, you lean forward, fists, hands in fists, and we breathe in and pull back in. It's about a 45-degree lean forward with the upper body. Breathe in and breathe out. After the 3rd repetition, notice my elbows are bent, hands below the shoulders. We're going to roll through the shoulders, not using my arms. I'm using my shoulders, and then the hands will open and soften and come back down. They're rolling through the shoulders from the front. I'm rolling through my shoulders. Hands release and float back down. We'll do 3 of these between every form, and we'll just string it all together. The most important things with Qigong, breathing in and out through the nose during the practice. Otherwise, when we're doing the healing sounds, obviously you're going to be releasing through the mouth. Nose is the filter for the lungs, so you want to try to breathe in and out through your nose as much as possible. Drink a glass of water after these practices and set an intention of what healing you would like to receive before we commence the practice. This helps you to bring your mind and body into alignment. We treat the body as something that we communicate with. You're living in this vehicle, this vessel, and most of us, we just wished we looked like someone else or our body was doing something else. But this body is working for you all the time. And the more that you can love and appreciate yourself, I promise you, the healthier you will be and feel, and the more your body will naturally cooperate with you. All right, so we're going to move into the full practice. Set your healing intention before we start. Have a glass of water ready, and know that the healing that you have set your intention for shall take place, and be gentle with yourself afterwards. A lot of people think, oh, we're not really doing anything, it's Qigong, but we move a lot of energy around during these practices, and the effect can be felt for up to a week. All right, let's get started. We begin at bamboo in the wind. This is your posture where you start bringing yourself into alignment. Feet, knees, hips lined up. Tailbone is anchored. Shoulders relaxed. Imagine there's a golden cord descending from the heavens straight into Bai Hui, or your crown chakra. This will hold your head up for the practice. Tuck your chin in slightly and feel the back of your neck open up. We'll take 3 breaths here. I like to have one hand at the lower dantian and the other at the heart. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Allow your hand to come down onto the lower dantian. Release both hands. Lean into your right leg, and we shall step out to the left. Feet, knees, hips in alignment. Tailbone anchored. You're still aligned to the heavens. This is like being a mountain. The bottom half of you is very rooted to the earth. This allows your head to reach up to the lofty peaks of the heavens without you losing your balance. We start this practice of the healing sounds with 9 regulation breaths. Turn your palms forward. We'll breathe in and draw them in front of the lungs, elbows nice and close. Breathing in, breathing out, making fists, lean over. As we come in, elbows bend, roll through the shoulders. Open up the hands and float back down. Our first form is for the lungs, the lion's roar. Breathing in. Sia. We do this 3 times. Breathing in. Sia. Last round, taking in as much as you can. Sia. Release. Hands come back up under the shoulders to regulate the chi 3 times. Breathing in. Come back in, roll the shoulders. Release the hands and float back down. The next form is for the heart. We make light fists with the hands. Your fingertips connect with the Lao Gong point when we're pressing into the palms with a fist. Hence, a lot of forms that work for the heart have a fist. Breathing in, we draw the hands up. Breathing out, you're going to roll your forearms together and the fists will come in and we sink down. Take a breath in and then breathe out and we'll make the sound for the heart. Ah. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. And last time. Release. Hands come in and we'll regulate the breath. Roll the shoulders. And hands float down. Third form, stomach and the spleen. The sound is whoo. Draw your left hand to the lower dantian. Right hand is going to sweep up over your head, heaven and earth. We breathe in to draw up, out to turn. Breathe in. We're going to hold here. Turn back to center and release. Hands turn over. Come in and regulate. And roll the shoulders. Release the hands. Next form for the liver. Big, big breath in. Hands make fists. Breathe in, come up. All the way around and down. Release. It's just one for the liver. Hands come in. Regulate the chi. We breathe in, out. And roll the shoulders. Soften and allow the hands to come down. We're now at the kidneys. Sweep the hands across, palms are facing out. 3 breaths as you massage the kidneys. Breathe in and pull the arms up. We breathe out. Tree. And release. 2 more times. Breathing in. Hands up. Tree. Last time. Breathing in. Now, this time when we regulate the breath, we make the sound and we'll sweep down. So bring the hands in just as you were before. Take a breath in. Last one. Release. We're going to float the hands down. Bottom hand will turn up. Doesn't matter if it's left or right. And we're going to take the top hand, slowly release and compress. So we're just drawing all this chi that we've moved around, and we're using the hands to guide it back down to the lower dantian, which is where we want it to be held in reserve. My hands are touching, Laogong points connected. And you may want to just hold here for a minute or 2. That last form moves a lot of energy around. And as with any Qigong practice, you always want to make sure you're back to center before you head off and do something else. You want to bring your chi back to you. You might also really feel the heat between your hands. My hands feel like they're on fire. And then gently slide your hands apart. And we'll breathe in and pull down the heavens 3 times, gathering up your energy from wherever it may have wandered off to. Not even just today. Where do you leave your precious essence and energy? Consider the different people, places, situations, and circumstances you find yourself in. Do you feel empowered? Qigong is known as the Art of Effortless Power. When we have our mind, body, and spirit working in alignment, we just naturally feel whole, complete, cleansed and purified, strong, resilient, and compassionate. Hands sit at the lower dantian. We'll circle 3 times clockwise. This practice is called mofu. And we just really settle the chi, nourish the organs. Take our time to really care for ourselves. Release the left hand out and gather up. Left side of the body receives the feminine. Reach out. The right gives the masculine. Bringing these two into balance. When we receive a healing, we naturally give this out to others just by our very presence. Draw your arms up overhead for one final gather of all the love that's around you everywhere, all the time. And draw this down and feed it into Yin Tang, third eye, the hall of impressions and the home of our perception, so that you may perceive this love in yourself and your world. And draw it down in front of your heart, so that you may perceive this love within yourself and extend it outward with all your thoughts, words, and actions. Hands dip down to feed this into the lower dantian, the reservoir of our essence, filling us up with the love of the entire world. You can just hear all the birds around me, the cicadas. It's just, this world is full of love. Hands come up to the heart, and we send all this love and healing energy out to the entire world. A problem shared is a problem halved. Never underestimate the gift of giving your energy when you have it to give. Release your hands. Feet back together where we started at bamboo in the wind. Left hand up, palm open. Moon, nighttime, the feminine, the mystery and darkness. Right hand makes a fist, the masculine, sun, brightness, warmth, activity. Draw these two together. As within, so without. As above, so below. Thank you for joining me for this practice. I bow in reverence to you and all the masters who have come before us. I wish you all deep healing and a beautiful day. If you would like to learn more about the organs, stay tuned for the third little part of this practice, and I'll just give you a little insight as to what emotions are usually lodged in organs and what organs are responsible for certain emotional responses. We started our practice with the lungs. The lungs sit either side of the heart. They're associated with the element of metal. Think of metal is able to cut through things. It's great at setting boundaries and it's very discerning. So the element of metal, lungs, responsible for taking in inspiration through the breath. And when our lungs are out of balance, usually due to deep grief, depression, this can actually lead us to a feeling of like drowning. We say we're drowning in sorrow. And often when we feel depressed, or we're in a period of deep grief, we tend to collapse forward. It's like a natural withdrawal inward. And as we do this, you can see by my physical form, I'm compressing through the lungs. The lungs need to open and expand. We need to pull back to allow this energy to release, but also so that we can take in fresh energy and inspiration from around us. The second organ that we worked on was the heart. The heart is associated with the element of fire. Fire wants to express outward. Its energy moves out. Think of the height of summer where everything's in bloom and the sun is really warm and beautiful. However, fire can also burn. So we want to temper the fire of the heart with the water of the kidneys. These two really need to be in balance. For someone whose heart is out of balance, the tongue being the gateway to the heart, you might find that they really talk a lot, have trouble listening, and mania, where people become just completely manic and crazy, is believed to be an affliction of the heart, where the heart is so out of balance that all the energy is just scattered. The heart is seen as the emperor of the body, or the sun. It's the ruling faction, so it really governs all the other organs. When our heart is out of balance, that just tends to send everything else out of balance. So calm heart, we have a peaceful mind, we tend to be joyful rather than reckless. I love this saying, a merry heart makes for a cheerful countenance. And when we have a happy heart, we're not overly worried about things. We're trusting in the nature of ourselves, which allows us to have trust in life. Then we move on to the spleen, which sits under the left side of the body. So the stomach and the spleen work together. We take in food and nutrients through the stomach. It's processed through there. And then the spleen takes all those nutrients and it moves it through our body so that we feel energized and we have lots of good qi in our lives for the things that we like to do. Now, these organs sit very centralized within the body. So when the stomach and spleen are out of whack, it could be because we have anxiety, we're really worried, someone who has a tendency to fret and, oh, the eternal fatalist, oh, that was great, but maybe this could happen. They're always leaning more towards that negative side of things, not able to sit balanced and harmonious in this moment. There's always that looking forward. This anxiety is very much a condition of, well, what if this might happen, that could come to fruition, rather than just staying present and also realizing that whatever our natural, habitual mental tendencies are, that really helps to create our frequency, which is like a magnet, drawing things to us. So to stop the worry habit is very important, so that your whole body can just relax and come back into its perfect homeostasis. Then we moved on to the liver, which is under the right side of the ribs, and it's paired with the gallbladder. So with the liver, very sensitive. This organ is associated with wood. And think of a tree wants to have deep roots so that it's very grounded, which enables it to grow up very tall to reach the heavens. So if we don't have a good root system, strong internal balance, sense of self, we tend to, shift and turn, lose our place. We want to have a deep inner connection. The liver is like the architect of your life. It maps out plans, and then the gallbladder goes, oh, all right, I'm the engineer. I'm going to take these plans and I'm going to actually enable them to come to fruition. So for people who have a massive drive, like under all circumstances, doesn't matter what happens, I am going to strive and succeed, that is really big liver chi, probably out of balance. We want to be able to make plans, grow and expand, but in a healthy way that doesn't destroy relationships, frustrate ourselves. The emotions associated with the liver when out of balance, anger, frustration, bitterness, jealousy, And if you think about addiction, and I've had addiction issues myself, so there's this tendency to not have enough faith in yourself to look at your dreams and go, oh, okay, this is possible. And so there's this natural tendency to self-medicate to calm the liver qi, which most drugs and alcohol are processed by the liver and the kidneys. And this is like a self-medication to try to help bring this into balance. Healthy liver qi, being able to say yes and no and really mean it. Finally, we come to the kidneys. Kidneys are believed to be the home of your essence. We get our essence from a little bit from both parents at the time of our birth. And this essence, this is really linked to our vitality, our health, bone health, very linked to the kidneys with the bone marrow. Early gray hair, kidney qi, hearing, the kidneys, eyes, the liver. And this essence that we have, we want this to be strong so that we know who we are. The kidneys associated with the element of water. Water, when in balance, it's tenacious, courageous, it flows over and around obstacles, can polish really jagged rocks smooth, carve out canyons. You know, even though water is yin, very soft, it's also extremely potent. It's that persistence over time. You know, that one water drop dripping that can carve a cave. So good, healthy kidney qi, which most of us do not have, can be depleted by lots of fear, and all of your organs will struggle under too much stress. To have a healthy, happy life, you really want to bring everything into balance within yourself so that this radiates outward in your lives. If you're finding that you have a lot of stress, take the time to sit down and ask yourself, what are my values? What is most important to me? What can I logistically and legitimately let go of to help bring myself back into harmony? If you are harmonious inside, all of this radiates out and will create harmony in your external world. Everything starts with you, your beautiful organs, your amazing body, whatever it looks like, whatever vehicle you're moving through this life with. Appreciate and love yourself. I respect that this is a practice, but it's so worth your while to start it today. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Wishing you all a beautiful day, week ahead, wherever you're at, and sending you lots of love from our overcast day here in Australia today. Bye for now.